You can be happy right now. You don't have to not be happy just because someone else isn't happy, or just because bad things are happening in the world, or because it makes somebody uncomfortable, or somebody else had a tragedy. You can be happy no matter what is going on around you. Yes, you will still experience all of the feelings on a feelings wheel. You might feel sad, you might feel frustrated, you might feel angry, you might feel shocked, you might feel surprised, you might feel dejected, you might feel lonely. All the emotions you can still feel, as yet you are also entitled and deserving to feel happiness whenever you choose to. You don't have to give up your happiness for anybody. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Today I'm talking about a topic that is incredibly important. This could be one of the most important topics I've ever done. It's very simple, very important, especially in times like these, where what I'm going to be talking about, a lot of people, this might upset a lot of people, and you're going to be surprised, like, what? Really? This is a topic that's going to upset and frustrate people? Yeah. And if you really practice what I'm about to go over today, you might not have some friends. Some people might be like, I don't want to hang out with this person. This is somebody I don't want to be around. Yet, the people that do want to be around you, it's going to be so much better. And most importantly, you're going to enjoy being around the most important person to be around, and that's yourself. So what is this topic that is so crucial, so important, so polarizing? How is something polarizing in a world of polarization? Like, how can that be? What I'm going to say, this is the radical statement. You can be happy right now, and you can be happy. It's okay. You don't have to not be happy just because someone else isn't happy, or just because bad things are happening in the world, or because it makes somebody uncomfortable, or somebody else had a tragedy. You can be happy no matter what is going on around you. I'm not going to say that you have to be happy all the time. Yes, you will still experience all of the feelings on a feelings wheel. You might feel sad, you might feel frustrated, you might feel angry, you might feel shocked, you might feel surprised, you might feel dejected, you might feel lonely, you might be feeling grief stricken. All the emotions you can still feel, as yet you are also entitled and deserving to feel happiness whenever you choose to. You don't have to give up your happiness for anybody. So why is this so polarizing? Where did this come from? So this past weekend, I went and visited back in the Sacramento area. Those of you who are longtime fans of the show and a lot of my work, read my book, you'll know that I spent a good chunk of my adult life in the greater Sacramento region. I got my doctorate at a university near there, and then that's where I worked at a major tech company for well over 10 years before finally moving to the Bay Area after my divorce. So uh, I don't go back often, and this was one of the first times where I was like, ooh, I think I'm excited to go back and like meet some new people, see some old friends, maybe have some good experiences. And I was just like, yeah, like, okay, I think I'm ready to go, because up until this past weekend, usually I would be going back mostly out of obligation, like for work or to get something done. And I would end up doing some things that were enjoyable, seeing some friends that I enjoy and like connecting with. Yet usually the purpose was, "Oh, okay, I have to do something here. This is not just because of sheer desire, sheer delight, sheer joy. This is because if I don't do this, I'm afraid something's going to happen." So usually job related, right? This time there's no need to go for any job. It was just, there's something and there's some people that I think I would really enjoy, so let me plan a trip out. And it's so funny because a lot of things that I planned on doing, so many things didn't go the way I thought they would. Some things got canceled. Some things didn't go the way I expected. Yet I got exactly what I needed out of the trip. And this is something that I'll kind of bring up a little bit later. But some of the friends that I met with, it's like they're having challenges. Like they're having things in their life that aren't going so well. They have complaints, they have grievances, and interesting because it had been a while since I'd seen most of these people. To hear them talking about their challenges and things that aren't going well, and being able to just kind of go, oh, I don't have to be unhappy just because they're unhappy. I can recognize that they're having a hard time and they're unhappy, yet I don't have to also become unhappy, or I don't have to start coming up with all the things that are going wrong in my life. Although I do have my challenges and things that I would like to be better, yet I can listen, care, yet I don't have to get in. I think Brene Brown uses an analogy that it's like if somebody's feeling down, it's like they're in a pit. It doesn't really serve anybody to go and get into the pit with them. It's all about if you can shine a light and show the way to a ladder to climb up, that's way more helpful than just getting down and now it's like got two people. And so this is true with both sort of personal challenges, but then there's more of the global challenges that are going on, right? Like the challenges in the economy, the wars that are happening, uncertainty with the climate and the world, and there's just so many things, and it's getting harder and harder for me to actually list off the things that are not going well in the world because I don't put a lot of focus on it anymore. It's like I touch in here and there so that I have an awareness, I have a knowing. Yet what I learned is that the more I've put my focus on what's not going well in the world, and you might be going like, well, how do you do that? And it's like just watch basically anything that's really easy to watch. So any news, any movies, any TV shows, they are going to make it really easy for you to focus on things that are not going well in this world. There's very few stuff that is easily available that is uplifting or going to allow you to put your focus on things that are happy and enjoyable. And where you put your attention is what you are going to get in return. So if you put your attention on things that are not going well, and I talk about this in my book, Engineered to Love, Going Beyond Success to Fulfillment, that at the time in my life when I had friends, then all we would do is bitch and complain. Well, what do you think happened with our lives? We just had the same shitty lives. We just had what we focused on, and we focused on problems. And so we had problems. And when I stopped focusing on the problems, I and started focusing on like, well, where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? What do I want to experience? That's when things started to shift. And also those friends shifted out of my life. Yeah, it's relatively quickly. And it's sad a little bit, yet this is the thing to kind of look into going back to the my trip to Sacramento where things didn't really go well is we can still have a little bit of enjoyment. And maybe enjoyment's not that, but satisfaction of that, oh, this isn't going how I wanted, or there's a loss, or there's something that I'm not happy about. But there can be a bit of like an appreciation that, ooh, but at least I know what it is I'm looking for and that this thing was not it, right? That we can be grateful for knowing that whatever we're experiencing is something we don't want anymore. We're done with it. And I feel like that was, whenever I go back to the Sacramento region, there starts to be I always get a little bit of taste of the life that I used to have there. And there's sort of just that, yeah, yeah, that was an option. And yeah, I don't, that's just not what I want anymore. And I see other people having life like that. Like one of my friends, her family, they just moved into this beautiful new home it was one of the model homes, so fully furnished. And it's just a beautiful, incredible, and fantastic. And they let me stay in the guest suite, and it was just great to share that. And like they are loving it, and I'm so happy for them. And then there's a part of me that I'm like, I wouldn't want this. I enjoy staying with them, but I'm like, I don't want this. And that's okay. We don't all have to want the same thing, right? And this is going to sound strange, but not everybody actually wants happiness, right? It can be challenging. And so it might be challenging for you if you haven't been in the habit of happiness. You've been in the happiness of complaining or seeing the bad or finding problems. These are just all habits. It's not necessarily who you are, it's just what you're practiced at. And that can shift. And you can shift it simply by shifting where you place your attention. So there are lots of people that are, want to bring up like the wars that are happening in places. And I'm not going to get into that because like I said, you can go just about anywhere else and get 24/7 coverage of all that's going wrong and all the challenges and all the horrible stuff that everybody is doing. And it can seem like, oh my gosh, the world is going to end. And if you place your focus on that, it becomes true. Your world has ended. It has become whatever it is you're focusing on. I was talking to someone and thinking of after the cold around the Cold War era, the nuclear era. So those of you that maybe have seen the Oppenheimer movie, the I have become death destroyer of worlds. That for some people, the fear of nuclear annihilation destroyed people's lives without another single bomb going off on American soil or other soil, because they feared it so much that they're focusing on is being in bunkers and storing food and how am I going to be safe, and they effectively got that post-apocalyptic world without one another bomb ever being dropped, right? So it really is like, yes, can bad things happen? Absolutely. And do you want to be a little bit prepared? Yes. But do you want to prepare for all eventualities? Because if you're doing that, then you're effectively living in the hell that you're trying to prevent already. You're focusing on that. And whether it happens or not, you're not really probably enjoying or seeing the beauty and the amazement. And so you can be happy now, and you can be happy even if other people are unhappy, even if other people are suffering in the world. Because think about it, there have probably been times where you've been unhappy, like maybe you've experienced loss. I know I have. And do you really want the entire world to be miserable just because you're miserable? And there could be a part of you that does, because I think we sometimes have these parts where it's like, well, I just want everything to be like me. I knew when I was like a kid, I had this interesting concept of the world where when it's raining, it must be raining everywhere. I didn't have this concept yet that, oh, it can be raining where I'm in California and not be raining in Iowa. It's like, oh, everything just whatever I'm experiencing is experiencing everywhere. Yet, as we know for the weather, that there can be different weather in different places. There can be different emotions in different places and for different people as well. And that's okay. We don't all have to be feeling the exact same thing at the exact same time. So just because there happens to be misery and suffering, if we feel misery and suffering, that doesn't alleviate anybody's suffering or horribleness. It just increases it. It makes it more. So actually, you're doing a service if you can find ways to be happy and shine that light and find ways to add beauty and amazement, because that might be where the like, oh, you'll come up with something that could materially help some of these situations, right? Like, there are people, there's always ends up to me being something beautiful about anything horrible that happens in the world. Like when we see like a natural disaster, the outpouring of support, of money, of services, of giving food, of getting aid, that so many people in the world always outpour, no matter where it happened in the world, whatever the geopolitics, are supposed to be. It's one of those like whatever two enemy places, but one place has a horrible disaster. The enemy will send aid if they can. Because it's just like, oh my gosh, something. And to me, that's always the beautiful thing. So looking for that and putting the focus on that of the beauty that ends up happening, the giving, the loving, the kindness, and being okay with like, I'm going to find my joy and my happiness and visit that as often as I can. And again, some people are not going to like that because they're used to you jumping in the pit with them, being miserable, being unhappy, being frustrated. And when you suddenly are like, "Oh man, that's rough. I'm sorry that happened. I'm very much looking forward to, things getting better and better next year. I have all these opportunities, and I'm looking forward to this travel. Or I'm so grateful that we're here together eating this great meal." Like they might go like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Not everybody's wanting to be happy because changing habits is challenging, and not everybody's ready to change in the same way at the same time, and that's okay. And saying that that's wonderful because that means that you don't have to change in any certain way on any certain schedule. You can change how you want to, when you want to. And that's awesome. That's okay. And there's people like me that are here to help, and there's plenty of other people here to help. But also, you don't have to do anything. You can just keep doing what you're doing. You'll keep getting what you've been getting. And so, if that's okay, it's okay. But if you're like, "Oh, I'm sick of this," then it's time to do something different. And so that's why I'm always looking for ways to offer ways to make it easier for people to do something different. So I'd love to see you in there so that you're like, oh man, now I know what to focus on to bring more happiness, bring more joy into my life. Because that's really, to me, that's the sign that you're on the right track is you're happy, you're feeling good. If something's like, oh, whatever, that's like, ooh, something's not working. Let's see what that is. It doesn't mean, pop a pill, smoke some weed, eat some Mickey D's, and try to forget about it. It's like you look at it and go like, what's going on? Like, okay, there's something that needs to shift here, and then you shift it and you feel a little better, and then maybe you run into something. It's like, oh, okay, here's another thing that isn't really working, and it just kind of gets better and better and better, and you start seeing all the amazing things that happen in the world, and are just like, oh my gosh, like this technology or this new way that's gonna reduce reduce carbon footprints, or these new way people are helping each other, or allowing people to have more housing, or better medical care. Like there's a lot of amazing things happening in the world. More is going right than ever before if you just look for it. You just got to look for it. And it just takes like a little bit of effort, a little bit. And sometimes you don't even have to like look that far outside of yourself. Oh, you can just be happy just by really getting intensely curious about your experience. Now, I'll probably maybe do a whole up episode on this, but if you just look at the truth of the moment by what your senses are experiencing, you can find some profound, beautiful, like, whoa, and just a lot of shit just falls away, just like the snap of a finger. I don't know if hopefully that snap got picked up. We'll find out. Um, but it can be something as simple as just really placing your attention on rubbing the two of your fingertips together and just like noticing the texture, and how there's like maybe a little bit of like friction and then ease, and then noticing the temperature, and just like recognizing how much is going on at the tip of your fingers, their ability to feel, the ability of your fingertips to move in space, that you can connect them together without even looking at them, and then you can like look at them and go like, oh my gosh, look at all the complexity of the fingertips and the nail and all that stuff. Like there's a lot going on. And just finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, and having that wonder and that gratitude for the simplest thing in your world, and using that to sort of like practice the habit of like, oh, I can be happy right now. Like even just when I sometimes when I take a shower and it's like I'm sudsing up my hair, and then it's time to like rinse it off, and then I look down and see the suds as they hit the bottom of the shower, and just the variety of bubbles and all the shapes and the sort of like the colors that you can get, like little rainbows and iridescent reflections, and then like the sounds of it as the watery and the soap hits the bottom of the shower, the splish splash, and as the water's going, there's a lot going on in every single moment when you just kind of stop and go like, ooh, let me see, what could I be happy about and enjoy right now, that I could just kind of be in wonder and amazement. And when we start focusing on the greatness of the little things, then we can start seeing the greatness of the grander things as well. It does, we don't have to wait for a great big thing, right? It's, we kind of get trained. I know not everybody celebrates Christmas or had Santa Claus, but I think I know I did. But I think there's a little bit of, we all get this of that like, oh, there's going to be some grand thing that happens outside that is going to show up, and that's going to be the gift, and that's the time to be happy and grateful and thankful. It's like, no, 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 no. Every moment there's an opportunity for you to see the amazement and the happiness, and you can be happy about so many things in your life, and it's okay. You have permission. You don't need me to give you permission to be happy, but I'm giving it, even though you can just have it because you are you. And that is going to do more for other people than, going like, yeah, this fucking sucks. Like, I can't believe that these guys are assholes and they're so wrong. They should do. Like, the more you can focus on what you want, what brings you joy, and create that, then a lot of this other stuff is just going to like go away naturally, right? So because it's like, oh, if you just talk about what's bad, you're just going to get more of what's bad. So it's one of these, like, it might go like, this can't be, but it is. And I'm curious what you think. Tell me I'm an asshole. Tell me I'm full of it. Uh, Let me know. Or let me know that you've tried some of these things and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, life's not so bad. Life is good, and I can see it can be getting better. I'd love to hear that. Actually, I'd love to hear that a lot more. So podcast@justinwink.com. Find me on social media, Justin Wink, Ph.D., TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So go on there, follow me, like my stuff. Really appreciate you listening. Tell a friend. Remember to rate, follow, subscribe. Really does help out. And again, if you want to join some of these things that I'm offering, there's ends up being recordings available and still some slots left. So justinwink.com/ideallife, justinwink.com/ideallifex. So check those out. That'll have all the details, the times, and how to get it. And they are no cost. So if you're like, it's money's tight, I don't know, it's like, there's so much out there for free, and here's something. So enjoy. Thank you so much, and good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wink, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives.